The shriek of the wind was a physical thing, a solid wall of sound pressing in on the dome. Kalen's knuckles were white where he gripped the reinforcement bar, his breath fogging the triple-paned plasteel. Outside, the world had ceased to exist, replaced by a churning ochre chaos. It wasn't Ut's sand, it was Xylus's memory, a billion years of geology ground into a fine, intelligent powder, pressure holding at 97%. Rhea's voice was tight, strained over the howl of the storm and the groan of the habitat. But the resonance friction is climbing. The outer laminate is seeing scoured away. Kalen didn't look away from the viewport. In the violent current of the sandstorm, he could almost see them, fractal shapes, impossible geometries that flickered and vanished in the blink of an eye, ghosts in the machine. "It's the dust," he said, his voice a low rumble. "It's not Ut hitting us, it's testing us, looking for a way in." The mnemonic dust, that's what the prospectus had called it, a planet-wide self-replicating nanite cloud designed to passively absorb and store geological and atmospheric data, a historian's dream. Yes. On a calm day, you could scoop up a handful and project a perfect 3D model of a billion-year-old mountain range. But in a storm, the data stream became a torrent, an incoherent scream of information. "Don't be irrational," Rhea snapped, her fingers flying across her console. The soft glow of the interface cast her face in sharp relief, highlighting the sweat on her brow. "It's a feedback loop. The storm's kinetic energy is causing the motes to process random data clusters. We're seeing the pareidolia of a planetary brain fart." "Pareidolia doesn't try to unbolt your windows, Rhea." He tapped the plasteel. A fresh scar, thin as a hair, was etching its way across the surface, branching like a frozen lightning bolt. The dust wasn't abrasive, it was coordinated. A sudden, piercing tone cut through the noise. A proximity alert. Kalen spun around. "What is that? Life support is sealed, external sensors are blind in this mess." Rhea's eyes were wide, fixed on a secondary screen. "It's the internal fabricator. It's active." They both stared at the humming machine in the corner of the small hab. "Yes." Its purpose was to use local soil, dust, to print tools, food paste, anything they needed. It was supposed to be powered down.
A thin, shimmering film was now coating its printing bed, coalescing from the very air. The dust was getting in.
Through the air recyclers, Kalen breathed, a cold dread washing over him. "It's too fine for the filters." He could taste it now, a metallic tang on his tongue, like ozone and old rock. The air felt heavy, charged. He looked at his arm, at the fine dusting of iridescent powder that had settled on his skin. It seemed to crawl. "This is impossible," Rhea whispered, but her scientist's curiosity was warring with her fear. She was already isolating the fabricator's data feed, her expression rapt. "The patterns, Kalen, they aren't random. It's a language, non-linear, recursive, but it's they. The storm is trying to tell us something." On her main screen, the chaotic static began to resolve. Fleeting images swam into view, clearer than the phantoms in the storm. A spiral of alien architecture. A creature with too many limbs, carved from shadow and light. A star chart that made no sense. "Shut it down, Rhea." Kalen's voice was firm. "Now."
"Yes." "Before it starts printing that thing?"
"No! Don't you see? This is everything! This glass anomaly, the reason this world has no life despite being perfect for it. The answer is right here!"
He strode over to her console, his hand reaching for the emergency power cutoff. "And what if the answer is that whatever lived here died for a very good reason? What if this dust is all that's left of them, and it remembers being angry?" As his hand hovered over the switch, a new image flickered onto the screen. It was sharp, horrifyingly clear. It was the interior of their habitat, their hab. And in the image, two figures stood, arguing. One was a man, hand outstretched towards a console. The other was a woman, her face illuminated by the screen's glow. It was them. Kalen froze, his blood turning to ice. Rhea gasped, stumbling back from her chair. The perspective on the screen was wrong. It was from high in the corner of the room, near the ceiling vent, where no camera was mounted. "How?" Rhea stammered. "How is it seeing us?" The image shifted again. Now, the viewpoint was outside the main viewport, looking in. Yes. They saw themselves, two small, terrified figures, bathed in the frantic lights of the hab, framed by the swirling, monstrous sandstorm. "It's not seeing us," Kalen said, a terrifying clarity dawning in his mind. "It's remembering us." The air thickened, shimmering like a heat haze. The low hum of the fabricator deepened, and the dust on its print bed swirled faster, rising in a column. The whispers started then, not in their ears, but inside their heads. A chorus of voices, a symphony of forgotten thoughts. The dust wasn't in the air anymore, it was in them. It had been all along. Rhea looked at her hands. They were translucent. For a heartbeat, she could see the glowing circuits of the console through her own flesh. She let out a choked cry. Kalen felt a strange detachment, the final piece of an impossible puzzle clicking into place. The abrasive scratches of the plasteel, the system failures, the ghostly images. It wasn't an attack. It was a system error, a corruption in the recording. He remembered, not with his mind, but with every particle of his being. He remembered the grinding screech of tearing metal, the explosive decompression. Yes. The agony of a body turned instantly inside out. He remembered the original storm, the one that had breached the dome and atomized Kalen and Rhea, their every cell, every thought, every fear, absorbed and encoded into the mnemonic dust. He looked at Rhea, her form flickering, her panic-stricken face a mask of disintegrating light and memory. He reached out to her, not with a hand of flesh and blood, but with a thought, a shared echo of a long-dead impulse. "We're not real," he whispered, and the sound of his voice was the sigh of sand or sand. His body dissolved, not in a flash, but in a slow, silent cascade. His uniform, his skin, his bones, they all unraveled into a cloud of shimmering, intelligent motes, swirling up to join the dust-thick air. A billion particles, each a perfect record of the man he had been, now released back into the storm's memory banks. Rhea watched him go, her own existence a flickering candle in the wind. She saw the room around her begin to lose cohesion, the consoles and bulkheads dissolving into the same granular static. The storm outside wasn't trying to get in, it was calling its own back home. Her last conscious thought was not out of terror, but of profound, aching sadness, an echo of an emotion, recorded and replayed. The simulation was failing. The data was degrading. Outside, the sandstorm howled, its contents forever shifting. Within the torrent, a new process began. The dust, driven by the storm's immense energy and its own fragmented programming, started to collate the data once more. It gathered the recorded consciousness, the architectural plans of the habitat, the biometrics of its occupants. Inside the silent, scoured dome, a fine, shimmering powder began to settle on the floor, coalescing from the very air. Slowly, painstakingly, a hand began to form. Then an arm. A voice screamed in the wind, unheard. The shriek of the wind was a physical thing, a solid wall of sound pressing in on the dome. A man's knuckles were white where he gripped a reinforcement bar, his breath fogging the freshly reconstituted plasteel.